12 weeks ago, you started this journey asking one question. Why am I so tired, so foggy, so far from myself? Today, we're going to answer it, not just with a list of supplements, but with a complete personalized roadmap that works with your body's ancient intelligence. Across traditions, whether we're talking about Ayurvedic medicine's concept of Ojas, the vital essence that governs vitality and immunity, or traditional Chinese medicine's Jing, your foundational life force stored in the kidneys. The message is the same. Hormonal depletion is not a single problem with a single fix. It is a pattern, and patterns can be rewoven. So today we are weaving it all together. Hormones don't dysfunction in isolation. They fall in layers, which means restoration has to happen in layers too. Think of this like building a fire. You don't start with the big log, you start with tinder, then kindling, then structure. Gut integrity is all that first layer, the foundations. It's week 1 through 3 of your work. So it's gut integrity, blood sugar, and you want that stable sleep architecture and reducing inflammatory load. Through the Ayurvedic lens, this is Agni, digestive fire. In Ayurveda, everything begins with Agni, your digestive fire. When Agni is impaired, the body produces Ama, a toxic residue that clogs the channels called srotas. Clogged srotas mean hormonal signals literally cannot reach their target tissues. This is why gut healing is not optional, it is foundational. Through the traditional Chinese medicine lens, this is spleen qi. Traditional Chinese medicine echoes this beautifully. The spleen system in TCM governs transformation and transportation. It is how nutrients become qi. When spleen qi is deficient from years of cold foods, stress, or irregular eating, the whole hormonal cascade weakens at its root. Layer 2, the stress cortisol thyroid axis. If you're following some type of a progress, this would be weeks 4 through 6. But you can do this as your body calls you to. This is HPA axis restoration, adrenal recovery, thyroid conversion support. Through the Ayurvedic lens, this is Vata pacification. Chronic stress in Ayurveda is a Vata imbalance. Too much air and space, movements without grounding. Vata excess depletes Ojas rapidly. This is why adrenal recovery protocols must include nervous system nourishment. Things like abhyanga, which is self-massage with warm oil, warm foods, rhythmic daily routine, not just adaptogens. In the traditional Chinese medicine lens, this is kidney yang and adrenal reserve. In TCM, the adrenal glands map closely to the kidney system, specifically kidney yang, the warming, activating force. Kidney yang deficiency looks like fatigue, cold extremities, low libido, and hair thinning. The classic burnout picture. Herbs like morinda root and euphorbium bark are used to gently rekindle this flame. Layer 3, if you choose, this would be week 7 through 9, your sex hormone rebuilding and rebalancing. This is estrogen metabolism, progesterone support, testosterone optimization, and liver clearance. In the Ayurvedic lens, this is the Shukra Dhatu. In Ayurveda, reproductive hormones fall under the domain of Shukra Dhatu, the most refined tissue layer, built from the proper nourishment of all 7 layers of tissue before it. You cannot shortcut to sex hormone balance without the foundational layers being strong first. The traditional Chinese medicine lens, this is liver, qi, and blood. So TCM places estrogen dominance and PMS squarely in the domain of liver qi stagnation. The liver's job is to ensure the smooth flow of qi and blood throughout the body. When the liver is overburdened, hello, modern toxin load, qi stagnates and hormones pool. Bupleurum, white peony root, and dong quai are the classic trio to address this. Layer 4 is your nervous system and cycle syncing. And when you're ready, it would be weeks 10 through 12. This is parasympathetic recovery, your circadian rhythm alignment, and living in sync with your cycle. Through the Ayurvedic lens, this is Ritucharya, the seasonal routine. Ayurveda's concept of Ritucharya, living in harmony with seasonal rhythms, extends to daily and monthly cycles. Your menstrual cycle is your 5th vital sign. When we align food, sleep, movement, and social energy with the 4 phases of the cycle, we stop fighting our biology and start working with it. Through the traditional Chinese medicine lens, this is yin and yang cycling. In TCM, the menstrual cycle maps precisely onto yin and yang phases. The follicular phase is yang rising, the luteal phase is yin deepening. Supporting these transitions with warming foods in the luteal phase and cooling building foods post-menstruation is precision medicine that's been practiced for 2,000 years. So here's the priority order for maximum energy return. If you're starting this reset and you're overwhelmed, here's the order that gives you the most energy return per unit of effort. This is your hierarchy. So the 5 priority energy return hierarchy. Priority 1, sleep. 8 hours, consistent bedtime in total darkness. Find the time that works best for you and always go to bed at that time. Priority 2 is blood sugar. Protein at every meal, no naked alone carbs. This will help you on that road. Priority 3 is gut health. These are your probiotic foods, fiber, reduced processed food. In priority 4, you're going to work on your stress response. This is a daily nervous system practice for 10 or so, maybe more minutes. Priority 5 is targeted support, specific herbs, nutrients that are for your pattern. There are other videos throughout this series that go over and in more detail on things like sleep and blood sugar and gut health and all of these things. So if you haven't watched those first, I encourage you to start at the beginning and to look for them. And then in regards to our priorities, do not jump to priority 5 without priorities 1 through 4 in place. This is like going through the layers. Just like in Ayurveda, it says you cannot jump to the most refined layer without having your foundations and everything else taken care of first. There's no rush. Do it as your body asks of you. If you look at these priorities, start at priority 1. Do not move to priority 2 until you have that good, strong sleep pattern. Because, like I said, this is a mistake most people make. Buying 1,000 supplements while sleeping 5 hours and eating sugar. The supplements cannot override the fundamentals. I have an Ayurvedic note for you on this. Ayurveda calls this Dinacharya, the daily routine. It is considered the single most powerful therapeutic tool in the entire system. Before any herb, any cleanse, any treatment, the daily routine must be established. Rising with the sun or close to it, eating at consistent times, and creating an evening wind down are medicine in themselves. And then a note from traditional Chinese medicine. TCM likewise prioritizes lifestyle as the highest form of medicine. Ji Qi, wisdom of living. Food and herbs are secondary to the cultivation of daily rhythm. The concept of Wu Wei, effortless action aligned with nature, suggests that when you stop fighting your body's natural rhythms, healing becomes remarkably efficient. And if you find this hard to do, look at your schedule. What is keeping you so busy that you can't have consistency in when you wake up, when you eat your meals, and when you wind down to go to sleep? Adjust accordingly. So here's a sample daily schedule and protocols. Let's make this real. Here is what a hormone reset day actually looks like from both a modern functional and ancient wisdom perspective. So for your morning protocol, morning is the hours from 6 to 9 a.m. You wake within 30 minutes of sunrise. 6 is a pretty good time frame there. But again, we're adjusting this with the seasons. It can change. Because this 30 minutes of sunrise is your cortisol awakening response, commonly known as CAR, C-A-R. It depends on light exposure. This is very important. 10 minutes of outdoor light before any screens sets your circadian anchor. Then you have your warm lemon water or CCF tea. That's cumin, coriander, and fennel. This is an Ayurvedic Agni kindler. Then you can do oil pulling or tongue scraping. This is Ayurvedic oral lymphatic practices. And then a protein-first breakfast within 90 minutes of waking. This stabilizes your morning cortisol curve. And then you can have your adaptogens in the morning. This would be ashwagandha or rhodiola. You do not want to take that after 2 p.m. So I have a traditional Chinese medicine morning note. The 7 to 9 a.m. window is the stomach meridian's peak time. It's the ideal window for your largest, most warming meal of the day. Honor it. So your midday protocol, this is about 12 to 2 p.m. This is when you have your largest meal. Ayurveda says the digestive fire peaks at solar noon. And then have a brief walk after eating. They call it's 100 steps. This activates your vagus nerve and glucose clearance. Then you can take magnesium glycinate at lunch if you're deficient, because this calms your stress axis. And then in TCM, 1 to 3 p.m. is the small intestine meridian peak. So avoid cold or raw foods that dampen your spleen chi. Maybe take a short rest or just eyes closed breathing if possible. This can be 20 minutes, so it's not full sleep. So your afternoon protocol, this is from 3 to 6 p.m. Your cortisol takes a natural dip at 3 p.m. Do not reach for caffeine. Reach for a protein snack and light. Go outside. You can have a movement window in here, strength training or yoga during this your follicular ovulatory phases is really helpful with this movement window at that time. If you're in your luteal or menstrual phase, do walking. In TCM, 3 to 5 p.m. is bladder meridian peak. This is ideal for focused work and flushing toxins, so make sure you're well hydrated. If you need some liver supportive herbs at this time, take your milk thistle, dandelion root, or schisandra. Your evening protocol is from like 7 to 10 p.m. Dinner is lighter than lunch. It's warm and cooked and completed no later than 7:30 p.m. In TCM, 7 to 9 p.m. is the pericardium meridian. This is your heart protector. It rules emotional boundaries. This is ideal time for connection, not screens. You can include abhyanga at this time. This is warm sesame oil in a self-massage. This activates the parasympathetic system. It pacifies Vata and improves sleep onset. So if you're having difficulties with sleep, this is a good thing to include in your routine. Then you can have your magnesium threonate or glycinate before bed. This again helps sleep. It's very supportive there. It's also supportive of your brain. And then you want total darkness. And then your room to be 65 to 68 degrees. And no screens 60 minutes before sleep. This is non-negotiable for melatonin. Then do a gratitude or journaling practice. 3 things. It anchors your nervous system in a safety signal to say, oh, look, here are 3 things that went well today. Now, before we talk about tracking your progress, I want to make sure you have one more tool in your hands. Everything we've covered today gives you the framework. But herbs are personal. The right adaptogen for adrenal burnout is not the same as what's needed for estrogen dominance, and using the wrong one can actually work against you. So I put together a free resource called the Hormone Pattern Herb Guide. It walks you through a simple self-assessment to identify your primary hormonal pattern, and then gives you targeted herb recommendations from all three traditions we've talked about today: functional medicine, Ayurveda, and traditional Chinese medicine for each pattern. It also includes dosage guidance and important cautions. So the link to download it is in the description below. It's completely free. Grab it before you start week 1 of the reset. It will make the whole protocol significantly more useful. So how do you track your progress? Here's the most important mindset shift of this entire series. Your labs are a snapshot. Your symptoms are your lived experience. We track both, but symptoms come first. So here is the 5 symptom pillars to track weekly. First is energy, quality and quantity. Do you have morning energy versus an afternoon crash versus evening second wind? Your sleep. Do you need time to fall asleep? Do you have wake-ups? What's your dream quality? How do you feel at the time you awaken? Track your mood. Are you feeling like you have emotional resilience? What are your irritability patterns? What's your anxiety baseline? And then track your cycle if this is applicable to you. The length, the flow quality. Do you have PMS symptoms? Do you have issues with mid-cycle energy? And then your digestion. Do you have bloating? Do you have regularity in your bowel movements? Any reactions to foods? What's your post-meal energy like? Do you feel like you've been fueled or drained? So score each on a 1 to 10 scale weekly. You are looking for trend lines, not perfection. A score moving from 4 to 6 over 8 weeks is success, even if you're not at 10. So we are tracking our symptoms, and now you're like, yeah, I'd like to see what labs can help me track how I'm doing. And so here are some labs to consider, and you would do it, if possible, at 30, 60, and 90 days. You want a fasting glucose plus a fasting insulin. It's sometimes called a HOMA, IR. This is a metabolic foundation. And then a full thyroid panel. So it's TSH, free T3, free T4, reverse T3, and TPO antibodies. And then complete sex hormones. This is estradiol, progesterone on day 21 if you're menstruating, and then free plus total testosterone and DHEAS. You want a cortisol. This can be a 4-point salivary or the Dutch panel. This is not single serums here, because that's what they'll do when they test you in a blood serum. They'll do maybe your AM cortisol. And then nutrient status, your vitamin D, B12, ferritin, zinc, and magnesium, RBC versus magnesium serum. So in Ayurvedic tracking, there's something called Nadi Pariksha, and you want awareness of this. Ayurveda's most significant and sophisticated diagnostic tool is Nadi Pariksha. It's pulse diagnosis. While you won't be doing this at home, you can begin to tune into your own pulse rhythms, your tongue coating each morning. A thick white coat on your tongue, especially in the morning, is ama, that toxic load. And then your stool quality. These are Ayurvedic markers of progress. In traditional Chinese medicine tracking, they use the 5-element emotional map. In TCM, each organ system has an associated emotion. Liver is your anger and frustration. Kidney is fear. Spleen is worry. Your heart is joy or its absence. When you notice a particular emotional pattern shifting, you're watching your organ systems rebalance, a profoundly meaningful marker that no lab can capture. So, 12 weeks, 12 layers, one truth. Your body is not broken. It is asking for a different kind of conversation. Whether you resonate with the language of cortisol and estradiol, or with Ojas and Jing, or with the liver meridian and spleen chi, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you begin to see yourself as a system capable of healing, not a collection of deficiencies to be fixed. Your 30-day reset starts now. Use the guide below this video. Take it one layer at a time. Track your symptoms weekly. And remember, in both Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, the goal is never to be perfect. It is to be in rhythm. I'll see you on the other side of your reset. You've got this.